Okay. So, chapter P has 7 sections. P1, P2, P3, P7. And we're going to crank through them. I love math. We're moving. We're rolling through it. When we finish P1, you will know, because all of a sudden the notes will say, oh, P2. So we'll be done with P1. You have 2 school days after we finish those notes to get that homework done and turned in. Now, kids, it's 1 page. Front only. Like I said, I'm a scavenger, so they're all on scratch paper. So it's front only. So P1 has 5 problems. Now, some have multiple parts, but that's it. And it's due 2 school days after we finish it. So if I finish P1 today, which I won't, but if I were to finish it today, it would be due Monday. If I finish it tomorrow, it's due Tuesday. If I finish it Monday, it's due Wednesday. Get the idea? And that's school days. So when you throw Labor Day in there, that doesn't count. Just like weekends don't count. It's 2 school days by the end of the day. So 3/20. Is that when we end, I think, this year? Whenever we end, that's when it's due. Now, my gift to you is that extra day. Because I know you're busy. Some of you, I know, don't get home from practice or games or whatever until like 9 o'clock or something. All right, you got an extra day then to get it done. Now, let's say I finish it today. It's due on Monday. Oh, but we don't have C period on Monday. Too bad, so sad. It's still due on Monday. If you want that extra day, then you take 1 day, not 2. If you say, no, I need to turn it in during C period, then turn it in tomorrow. You see what I'm saying? Turn it in early, not late. This door, when I'm teaching in here, is always open. You can drop it off at your convenience. If you want to drop it off on your way to lunch, I'm fine with that. If I'm teaching, just walk in quietly and respectfully, and it goes in that yellow plate right over there. See that yellow platter? Anything you want me to see has to go into that platter. If another teacher is teaching in here, and there is another teacher that uses this room, then don't interrupt. Don't interrupt another teacher. You may, I actually prefer hard copies. That's how I like to grade those. If you want to, I don't like to grade anything, but it's easier for me to grade hard copies. If you want to take a picture of your work and email it to me, that is fine also. I do not grade electronically submitted homework though. I'll give you credit for it, of course. But then I'll turn it back to you, and then it will be up to you to check it with the answers when I post the answers. Okay? Don't submit, don't email me and say, Ms. Ford, there's no submission in Schoology. No, there isn't, never will be. If you want to send it to me electronically, take a picture of it and email it. Okay? Got it? And it's due 2 class days after. So 5 problems, extra day to get it done. How lenient do you think I am with late work? Not very. I've given you a lot, kids. Now, some of you, and I don't know you yet, but I know there will be some of you who need more practice. Some of you, this will be fine. Some of you will need or want more practice. In Schoology, I have posted what are called supplemental homework problems from the textbook. I've also given you the answers to those. You are free to do as many or as few of those as you want. You'll come in during office hours if you have questions about any of it. I generally have my homework answer key just lay in here. I gotta do them and get them done, but they'll be laying there. You're free to come in and look that over. Kids would come in last year during office hours and say, Ms. Ford, can I check my homework? Sure, check it. Fix anything you want. I'm not grading your homework for accuracy. I want you to pay attention to it, think about it, do the very best you can. If you need my help, that's fine. That's what I get paid for. Okay? Not much, but I do get paid. Okay? All right. Now, are we absolutely clear about the homework?
Yes.
Okay. So we know that if the homework's due on Tuesday, But we're taking a college visit on Tuesday. We know we can email me a picture of it, right?
Yes.
Okay, we got this. This is easy. Okay. Like I said, I've been here for a long, long time. And when you're at someplace for a long, long time, you get a reputation, good or bad, you get one. And part of my reputation is that I'm mean. And I don't think that's fair. But you need to know right up front, I do enforce the rules. And if writing you an infraction because you chose not to shave makes me mean, then I guess I'm mean. But I'm gonna enforce the rules. If you follow the rules, then I don't have to be mean to you. I don't think it's mean anyway, I'm just doing my job. I need lanyards, I need no facial hair, I need the right sweatshirts, I need no gum, I need all the things all these videos are telling you about. Because I do pay attention. I also need you to be here on time. We have a lot of math to cover, you guys, a lot. And if we're gonna get it done, we need to start at the beginning of the period, and I need you here at the beginning of the period. Try to make it a priority. If you have to go to the bathroom, go during someone else's class, okay? We need to get this going. All right, don't wanna bore you. There's plenty of days to do that coming up. Any question about anything I've said? Yes?
So when we do turn in this homework, so it's like a packet.
You rip off page 1.
We do.
Great question. You rip it off, put it in the plate, and then you'll be ready to do page 2. Rip it off, put it in the plate, and so on. Yep.
So mine is notes, not lined as a, where it says homework is the homework one, but the notes is the other packet.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Yes.
Do you prefer like if we show our work on this paper and you do extra paper?
Yep. Your work should be shown on the homework paper. Usually there's plenty of space to do that, but if by chance, I know everybody works a little differently. If you do any work on another sheet of paper, you need to staple that to your homework and turn it in, because work matters. That's how I grade you, is what I don't care what the answer is really, I sort of do, but I want to see you making an honest attempt at it. Any questions? All right, anything else? Last year, I won 2 awards that aren't really awards, they just told me. It's no big deal. But last year, I had more kids come to office hours than any other teacher. I'm proud of that. I'm proud of that, because I want you to come in. I want you to come in and see me during office hours. Now, if I have 15 kids, then I'm gonna pay attention to you, but I'm also gonna pay attention to the other 14. But I want everybody coming in here. Some days I have 1 or 2. Always, if you have a question about anything, get in here and let's get it worked out. Or check your answers, check your homework, whatever, okay? So I was number 1 with office hours. I was number 1 with something else, infractions, okay? Now, again, I'm kind of proud of it because it means I'm paying attention and doing my job. I need all of you to not make me the queen of infractions, okay? I do not want to get that award again. Okay? All right. So we're all set then. If you think of anything else, of course you can ask it. And tomorrow we're going to come in and sit in where we're going to sit, not in the back row.
That was my packet.
Oh, I'm sorry. Remember, I'm 63. Everything gets blamed on my old age, okay? I am old, you need to take that into account. Okay, let's see, let's go ahead and get started. We got a little time, so let's get our notes out. And a lot of what we do is an extension of what you did last year. I promise there will be some new stuff though, but certainly not in Chapter P. Chapter P is going to be pretty much all review. All right, so here we go. We're going to convert these into decimals. We're going to find the decimal for these. Oh, one thing I forgot to tell you, every class period, you're my only academic class, so I'm gonna video every single day, and I post those videos in Schoology. So if you are absent, seniors are absent a lot, I get it. If you are absent, you get to watch the video. Alright, you're gonna watch the video, so that when you come back to school, you're gonna hit the ground running. Alright? Don't come in and say, Miss Ward, I missed yesterday, what did I miss? No. Watch the video, right? And you'll get it, it's just like being in class. Okay, here we go. Who knows how to find a decimal for -7/8? What do we do? Yep.
You divide 7 by 8.
You absolutely do. And when we do that, you said it exactly right. It's 7 divided by 8. So the top number goes on the inside. Miss Ford, can I just put this in my calculator? No, we need to be able to divide. So we're gonna put a decimal point and a couple zeros on there. And then 8 goes into 70. 8 times, very good. Doesn't it feel good to be doing math again? 8 goes into 60, 7 times. Oh, good. 8 goes into 40, 5 times. So -0.875, that's called a terminating decimal. Because it did stop. We had to do a little bit of work there, but it did stop. Agreed? All right, let's do the same thing with 13/5. 13 divided by 5. Remember, top number goes inside. 5 into 13.
2.
5 into 30. 2.6. Another terminating decimal. All right, one more. 11 divided by 9. 9 goes into 11. 9 goes into 20. Oh, whoa, what's happening here? It's gonna repeat, isn't it? Does everybody see that? So we could keep going with the division, but we would just keep getting this over and over again. So how do we reflect that in our decimal? Little bar over the top, very good. This is called a repeating decimal. Right? A repeating decimal. When you put the terminating decimals together with the repeating decimals, that's what makes the rational numbers. If you don't already know that, you probably should write that down somewhere on the side, that the terminating and repeating decimals all together make up the rational numbers. Are there decimals that don't repeat or don't terminate?
What is terminating?
Terminate is N. N. What? Pi. Pi is what we call an irrational number. The irrational numbers, my writing's not too good. The irrational numbers are the decimals that don't repeat, non-repeating, and non-terminating decimals. And a great example, and the most famous example, is pi. You guys know that pi goes on forever and ever, right? It never repeats. You can't put a bar over it. It keeps changing, going on forever and ever. Are there any other numbers you're aware of that go on forever and ever and don't repeat and don't terminate? There are lots of them. Millions and millions of them. Here's another one. Square root of 2. If you type the square root of 2 into your calculator, it looks like it ends, but it doesn't. It keeps going forever and ever. Likewise, the square root of 3, the square root of 18, any radical that stays a radical. So like I know this simplifies, but it still has a radical. 3 root 2 still has a radical. Now, not the square root of 4, because the square root of 4 is 2. No more radical. If you can get rid of the radical, it's rational. But if you can't get rid of the radical, it's irrational. Anybody study natural logarithms last year? Natural logarithms? What's the base? ln. What's the base? That's log base e. Don't you remember e, Euler's constant? We'll talk more about that, trust me. But you should probably know that that is also an irrational number, one of the big ones. Okay, well, enough of that. Let's look at our inequalities now, and let's graph on the number line. All right, so who can tell me what this looks like? Well, first of all, who can read that to me? What's that say?
X is greater than or equal to -2.
Exactly. So on a number line, what's that look like?
Me?
Anybody?
You're gonna graph -2 first, and then values that are above it, and then like, you don't need to do values below it, but like -1, 0, 1, yeah, and then you're gonna do a circle on -2, and then the line comes to the right.
So two things about what she said. First of all, thank you, it's great. You do not need to put any other numbers on the number line. If you're comfortable doing that, go ahead. But you do not. You need to have the number in the problem, or maybe if there's 2 numbers in the problem, whatever numbers are in the problem need to be on the number line. Nothing else does unless that's just your choice. Second of all, for this particular problem, what about that dot I put there? It needs to be colored in. Because when you have an or equal to, you need a closed dot. Remember that? When you don't have an or equal to, then you're going to use the open dot. Okay, well, what about this guy? What does this look like on the number line? Well, first of all, there's 2 numbers. So I told you a minute ago, they go on the number line. Okay, so there's my 5 and my 6. All right, what add to that? What else?
A line goes in between them.
Exactly. See this X, guys? Isn't he sitting in between 5 and 6? So that means you're going to shade in between 5 and 6. Anything else? 6 needs to be colored in. That's exactly right. Now, the remaining 4 problems in this section use a different notation. These are called inequalities, sometimes called set notation. Okay? These are intervals. Did you study intervals last year?
Yes.
Interval notation. Tell me what you remember about interval notation. Tell me what you remember. Here, this one right here. What do you remember?
Isn't it parentheses is an open dot and a closed dot is the brackets, and then isn't infinity always open?
Infinity is always open. So when you write an interval, wherever your infinity is, it will always be open. Very good. Let's go back to what she said first of all. She said if you have a bracket, it means it's closed. It's called a closed interval, which means when you graph it, the dot will be colored in. It's a closed dot. The parentheses is open notation, so that will be an open dot. So for this one, this is D, letter D. For this one, on my number line, I have a -2 and a 3. The -2 is a filled in dot, the 3 is an open dot, and I want everything in between. Does that look okay to everybody? Okay, so one more quick comment about rules for intervals. She said that if you ever use an infinity in your interval, it must be open. Absolutely. The other thing is, when you put 2 numbers into the interval, they have to be in number line order. So in other words, it has to be negative 2, 3. It can't be 3, negative 2. They gotta be in the order they are in the number line when you write your interval. Okay, so, oh wait, that's hunky-dory. So this one would be easy, this last one here. I've got a negative 3 and a 3. They're both open, colored in between. Everybody okay with that? What do we do with these infinities? Because you don't put a dot on infinity. You can't do that. You can't say, oh, here's infinity. No, can't do that. So how am I going to handle this? What does that look like?
You're gonna graph 5, and then you're going to, with an open dot, and then you're gonna just have an arrow going towards negative infinity.
Exactly. Negative infinity is back here. So I love the way she said it. She said you're going to have an arrow going toward negative infinity. This means x is less than 5. Shoot! So let's finish up this last one here. We're going to put a dot at 7, color it in, and shade which way? To the right. Perfect. Ah, too much math, too little time. All right, you have an assignment for tomorrow. What is your assignment? Pink sheet. Pink sheet, sign. Pink sheet.